Hi, my name is Talia. Welcome to Talia Nerds Out. I am going to try to move as little as possible because I am in the most creaky chair in our kitchen. But this video needed to be done in the kitchen because I mentioned in a comment under a video Kelly reads a lot, did on the hobbies on our bookshelf about a cookbook that we have that's history related. And she hasn't had a chance to see the comment, but I did want to show it really quickly. I heard about this on a history podcast. I'm not sure which one. I used to listen to a lot of history podcasts back when I was working night shift. I would knit and I would listen to history podcasts or to the great courses. At that time, I was also doing a lot of knitting and reading at the same time because multitasking would happen to you. But this book is called American Cookie. I'm pretty sure that it's a flipped view, so I apologize for that. I'm not sure how to make that better when you're using an iPhone, but this is American Cookie, the snaps, drops, jumbles, tea cakes, bars, and brownies that we have loved for generations. So you have things in here. I have a bunch of recipes marked, but I'll try to show ones that have pictures. I will mention that there is one that's like the best lemon squares. I don't have a picture, but Junior Lee, if you pick up an old Junior Lee cookbook, you might find telltale smudges and lemon square recipes that talk about it, being so popular in the 1960s. But then it goes on for farther history. Lemon squares are much older than you might imagine. End of the 19th century. Talks about in 1899, people were baking lemon squares, which were lemon layer cakes, 1930. So it goes through and gives you a history of lemon squares. Now you could go on to as well. Oh, don't those look excellent? Those are Thomas Jefferson Savoy cakes. Our third President Thomas Jefferson was a man of many talents. And it goes through just some of his other talents. But they also talk about his love of fine food and wine that led him to record specific recipes while he lived in Paris from 1784 to 1789. In addition to macaroni and ice cream. Anyway, he wrote down how to make these light sponge cases called biscuits de Savoy. And he brought this French method of beating egg yolks with sugar, adding flour, and folding in the beaten egg whites back to America and to his state-of-the-art kitchen in his Monticello, Virginia home. And so it talks about how this was like the original ladyfinger. Just, it gives you these cool histories of all these different recipes. They have one for Katharine Hepburn. They'll talk about ones that, they'll talk about the history of the Fig Newton and what, I actually didn't know we had a Fig Newton recipe in here. Then, so they'll have, 1922 Girl Scout cookies. No picture though, unfortunately. Now, I know I have in here, let me see. Now I've got a picture. Oh, here's a nice spread of pictures. But like I said, they'll mention like shortages or if they were saving things like sugar for the troops or whatever. Okay, so something like, I'm trying to find a good one. Oh, here we go. Snickerdoodles. Cherished American cookie. They've been popular within Mennonite and Amish baking communities for decades. And then it says the story begins in 1891 when Cornelia Campbell Bedford, yes, I pronounced Campbell weird. I don't know. I always feel like I had to pronounce the P. Anyway, better known as Nellie, shared a recipe for snickerdoodles. And then they go from there. Here is the snickerdoodles. Here are the snickerdoodles, sorry. 1908 rocks. And this talks about the specific, it's really cool. I recommend getting it. I was trying to find one that specifically talked about the shortages and stuff, but of course I'm not going to skip over to that one for whatever reason. Oh, this sounds good. Of course, it looks like it might have alcohol in it. Yeah, dark rum. Duh. Okay. But okay. The soft memorable cookie was born in Marblehead, Massachusetts after the Revolutionary War. It was called Joe Frogger. It was supposedly named for a freed slave named Joseph Brown, who ran a tavern called Black Joe's on the edge of a mill pond with his wife, Lucretia. The tavern was the scene of much revelry, according to Smithsonian researcher. I keep feeling like I'm seeing something behind me. Anyway, according to Smithsonian researcher Julia Blakely, and known for its ginger cookie baked in an iron skillet. This cookie was unlike other ginger cookies of the time because it was large and fat, almost pancake-like, and laden with rum, a plentiful ingredient in early New England. And they said ginger has long been valued as a stomach settler, and local fishermen who went out to sea in search of cod took along Joe Froggers to ward off seasickness. And they were named for the the fat frogs and lily pads present in the pond behind Joe's tavern. And they said that another story behind the moniker is that the name is a corruption of the term Joe Flogger. According to Blakely, that is what the first fishermen called their provisions while at sea. They said that it's easy to bake. Apparently, there's also so-called tavern biscuits that also use brandy, sweet wine, or rum. But they look really good. I wonder if they managed to cook that like alcohol taste out, because I really don't like the taste of alcohol. But they just look so good. Emily Dickinson rice cakes. Okay, I can flip through forever and read you little histories. But I'm not going to. I would recommend. I haven't actually made any of the recipes from there just because there's only so many cookies that you probably should eat. But maybe I should find some lower calorie options and try them at some point. Because I love the idea of having a historical context for what you're making. It's like reaching back in history and touching a piece of history, even though you're making with modern ingredients. You're making it with a recipe that's written in a modern format. They probably hardly had as many details as modern recipes did. Simply, you can tell by looking at people's knitting patterns that are historic, where they just assumed you knew stuff. And if you try to follow a historical knitting pattern, and you look at it, you're like, wait, what are they telling me to do? And I wonder if you looked at a historical cooking recipe, if it would be much the same. They just a lot of assumptions. So this would probably written in a format that I would imagine cooks of older, past generations would be like, why are you going to so much detail? Why do you need all this extra information? Plus, of course, temperatures in for the oven, and even the stovetop for like melting things that you wouldn't have had access to. Like, I mean, it's not like they would have had the same kind of cooking implements or like a stovetop oven the way we do now back in the Revolutionary War for those Joe Froggers that I just showed. But anyway, interesting cookbook, or baking book rather. I wish that I could say that I've already tried them. I have flipped through, I've, gone and tagged a bunch of them. I just haven't gotten around to actually making any of them. But yeah, that's it for this video. Just wanted to show this. I hadn't even thought of showing it before until I saw Kelly show a couple of the baking books on her channel. I was like, oh, you know what? This kind of lines up with some of the other history content that I make. I should probably show this book. Now, because this is showing backwards on my screen, I'm assuming it's showing backwards on yours. Once again, American Cookie, The Snaps, Drops, Jumbles, Tea Cakes, Bars, and Brownies That We Have Loved for Generations by Anne Byrne, B-Y-R-N, Byrne. So, thank you very much for joining me. Hope that you have a wonderful day, and I will see you again next time. God bless.